Here's a little story about selling land. One of the things you learn when you sell land is that sometimes, depending upon what is happening, if it needs rezoned, if it needs a building permit, if it needs plans approved, things like that, it might be under contract a long time before you actually close. And during that period of time, it is not at all uncommon. I've had it happen several times where someone will try to torpedo that deal, and they can have all kinds of reasons for it. You know, it you know, there's lots and lots of reasons, but so I'm going to tell you about one particular time. I had a client, and it was a pretty good thing. It was around 20 acres, and that we sold, and it was under contract, and the buyer had to get it rezoned. The buyer had to get the plans approved and all these things. So we were in a process, um, and so we had been working on it for a while. Well, there was another company. It's a pretty large company that owned the land that surrounded this land, and they wanted to control that land. And we had offered it to them before. They had never been willing to buy it. They didn't want to spend any money on it, but they still wanted to control it, even though they didn't want to buy it, but they wanted to control it. And so when it went under contract, the guy, who actually I knew him, and he was even kind of a friend, he was calling me up, saying, "Hey, you know what? Can you tell me what's going on?" It was always very friendly, and I'm like, "Well, I can tell you some things, but I can't tell you everything." He's like, "Oh man, that is really great. That is really great." But then every time we would file a plan, my guys had spent about a year and a half, 2 years getting things lined up to be rezoned, getting plans approved, getting all these kinds of things done. And when it was just about ready to do it, these guys came in and like, "Oh man, we've decided to redevelop. We're going to develop our property over here. So we have to redo this traffic plan. We have to redo all this work." So they torpedoed it, and then my guys redid all of it again, and they submitted it, and then they submitted another plan, the other guys did, and they just kept trying to torpedo the deal until finally, after 4 years, our guys walked away. And so they ended up in control of that property without really buying it. So you have to watch out for that. I mean, things like that will happen, and you really need to be aware that that could happen to you. So, anyway, that's a little land story. I'm David McCoy, Ochimo Properties, based here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm licensed in Kentucky and Indiana, and that's it. That's my little real estate story for the day. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.